Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another hard-hitting episode of the Callous Mind Sportscast. In this week's episode, we're talking my Week 1 pick results, which were, oh my God, terrible, and NFL Week 2 picks. So without further ado, let's get started. NFL Week 1 pick results: 4 wins, 11 losses, and 1 tie. Wow. That is brutal. And just for comparison's sake, I went back and looked at last year's Week 1 pick results. And as you can see from this video screen capture, I was 11 wins, 5 losses this same week last year. So that is brutal. You know, the reality is this week was really pretty difficult to pick. I mean, the Falcons and Saints game could have gone either way. The Bears and 49ers game could have gone either way. The Bengals did everything they could to lose. So did the Steelers, but the Steelers ended up beating the Bengals. The Patriots going on the road, losing their quarterback. Some of this stuff you just can't predict. The Panthers barely lost to the Browns, but it's a loss nonetheless. The Cardinals got stomped at home. The Packers, they got their ass kicked in Minnesota. So good for Minnesota. The Raiders lost. Derek Carr turned the ball over 3 times. The Cowboys lost on Sunday Night Football. It's not just to do with Brady, but not only did the Cowboys lose to the Buccaneers, but now they've lost Dak Prescott for, an unknown amount of time. So, and then the Broncos on Monday Night Football. They very easily could have won. I mean, who knew that Seattle's defense was going to play like that? And maybe it's an anomaly. They stepped up and they played well in this game because it was against Russell Wilson, or maybe they're good. Maybe Seattle's a lot better than I gave them credit for going into the season, given the fact that they had traded away Russell Wilson and now have Geno Smith under center. So a lot of questions were kind of answered. Maybe these were anomalies. Maybe they were flukes. I don't know. I guess we'll see more here in Week 2. All right, so NFL Week 2 picks are as follows. For Thursday, September 15th, 2022, Los Angeles travels. I need to specify. The Los Angeles Chargers travel to visit the Kansas City Chiefs. And I got to tell you, I think the Chargers are a fine team. Kansas City just look like they are on another ridiculous level. Travel may be an issue for the Chargers, but both these teams just played on Sunday, so we'll see. Either way, I'm taking Kansas City at home to defeat the Los Angeles, formerly known as San Diego Superchargers. Next game, Sunday, September 18th, 2022, New York Jets travel to the Cleveland Browns, and I gotta say that I was a little surprised that Cleveland was so competitive this past weekend, even with a quote-unquote backup quarterback. But the Jets are just one of those teams. Until they get right, I won't believe they're right. So I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns at home against the Jets. Next game, Washington at Detroit. Detroit was really competitive in Week 1 as well, but they were so competitive that I'm actually taking them at home. So I will take the Detroit Lions at home against the Washington Commanders. Next game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at New Orleans Saints. NFC South matchup. Brady doesn't seem to be fazed by what's going on in his personal life. They're still winning on the field. And I think New Orleans worked very hard to lose to Atlanta this past weekend, even though they won the game. So I'll take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road to defeat the New Orleans Saints. Next game, Carolina Panthers at New York Giants. The Giants, man, they crept up this past weekend, and I was pretty surprised. But I'm going to give Carolina the benefit of the doubt here on the road, so I'll take the Panthers on the road to defeat the New York Giants. Next game, New England at Pittsburgh. I'm taking Pittsburgh for one of a couple of reasons. One, I believe New England starting quarterback Mac Jones is out for this game. And if that is the case, I don't know who their backup quarterback is, and I don't know how much faith I have in them. And Pittsburgh really just played a hell of a game. They played like they didn't want to win or lose, though. They actually played like they wanted to tie against the Cincinnati Bengals, but they did get the win. So I will take the Pittsburgh Steelers at home to defeat the New England Patriots. Next game, AFC South matchup, Indianapolis at Jacksonville. Jacksonville played pretty good. Indianapolis didn't necessarily play all that well this past weekend, but I'm still going to take them. So I'm going to take Matt Ryan and the Indianapolis Colts to win on the road at Jacksonville. Next game, Miami at Baltimore. I think Baltimore's a pretty good team, especially at home, but the Dolphins showed something this past weekend. But either way, I will take the Baltimore Ravens at home to defeat the Miami Dolphins. Next game, the Atlanta Falcons visit the Los Angeles Rams, and I will take the Rams at home to defeat the Atlanta Falcons. Next game, Seattle at San Francisco. This is an NFC West matchup, and it's already going to be a super important game in the grand scheme of things as far as the NFC West goes. I think San Francisco can win this game, but I also now, after having seen Seattle on Monday Night Football, I think Seattle can win this game as well. But I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to the San Francisco 49ers because they are at home, and they also seem to have, I believe it was Seattle's number last year. So I will take the 49ers at home to defeat the Seattle Seahawks. Next game, Cincinnati at Dallas. Normally, I would have taken Dallas in this game, especially since both these teams are coming off of a loss. But Cincinnati was playing, and they did everything they could to lose that game to the Steelers in Week 1, and they did subsequently lose that game. But they still played relatively strongly, and the Dallas Cowboys are going to be without Dak Prescott, so I will take the Cincinnati Bengals on the road to defeat the Dallas Cowboys. Next game, Houston Texans at Denver Broncos. I don't know what was going on with Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos on Monday Night Football. I hope they can have a better showing for their home crowd. So I will take the Denver Broncos at home to defeat the Houston Texans. Next game, this is a tough one. Arizona Cardinals visiting the Las Vegas Raiders. And I got to say here that I don't know how much faith to have in the Arizona Cardinals, but I'm going to pick the Raiders anyway because I have a longer standing relationship being a Raiders fan than I do being a Cardinals fan. So I will take the Raiders at home to defeat the Arizona Cardinals. Next game up, Chicago at Green Bay. The NFC North matchups continue. And I got to say that Green Bay played very, very poorly against Minnesota. I don't know if Chicago will stymie Green Bay the way Minnesota did, but I'm going to go ahead and take Green Bay at home at Lambeau against the Chicago Bears. And then on Monday Night Football, there's two games, Tennessee at Buffalo and Minnesota at Philadelphia. And I got to say, there was a similar matchup last season that I'd wagered on. I think it was Buffalo at Tennessee on a Monday Night Football game. It was like the end of my parlay, and I would have won like a 6-game parlay or whatever. But Buffalo ended up losing that game, and I could kick myself in the head. But anyway, Buffalo seems like they are trying to be a juggernaut and trying to get to the Super Bowl from the AFC, which is a tough mountain to climb. But I believe the Buffalo Bills will win this game. So I will take the Buffalo Bills at home to defeat the Tennessee Titans. Next game, Minnesota at Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts is not a just stand in the pocket statue quarterback, kind of like Aaron Rodgers is. I think he's much more mobile, and I think he'll fare better against the Minnesota Vikings than Rodgers. So I will take the Philadelphia Eagles at home to fly, and defeat the Minnesota Vikings. Before I go, I want to remind everybody that the Fuck Joe Biden coin is still available, and you can get yours by following the link in the description box below. Thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. I sincerely appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share if you're so inclined. Until next time, please, please, please show grace to each other and be good to yourselves and each other. And I'll talk to you next week. God bless.